Yes. So I'm really grateful to have the chance for many months to be with a great audience and people who want to grow, to learn, and to exchange and to connect. And for this is already a positive emotions. And I'm also very grateful to have this chance to talk after Anke and Stefan, who really did an amazing job in Siemens, and for me, it's a perfect introductions. And I had another one, because I was not expecting such a great speech, is, let's say, I have by chance read the Industry 4.0 by PwC, so one of the top consulting company on Industry 4.0. And this is a survey for 2,000 people, 26 countries, and 9 industrial sectors. So it's the biggest survey in its kind. And I was amazed by the findings they have found on the main challenge. What is the main challenge the company have for implementation of Industry 4.0? You want to know what it is? It is clearly stated it is not about having the right technology. It is about people. I was amazed, to be honest. There is a lot of complex terms. You can have it. It's on internet. And he was saying it's all about having people having the right skills. It's all about management and leadership. It's all about accepting that people accept the change. And it was the presentation we have seen. Okay? So I am Hervé Dohan, and I'm not coming from HR. I'm not coming from consulting company. I have nothing to sell. I am much more an operational guy. I spent 10 years in supply chain management, also dealing with supplier, making audit to plant manager, a lot, as working in procurement. And today, I am head of quality, logistics, and transport in Airbus, having teams in several countries. And I am also the initiator, the founder of the Plus Emotional Energy at Work initiatives, which is also a bottom-up initiative, you were mentioning, Anke, encompassing 30 very motivated and passionate person who thought that emotions have a place at work in a very rational environment. And that we can really foster collective intelligence, well-being at work, and connections. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So the objectives, I will limit to 3 today. The first is to make you discover a bit more what is the Plus Emotional Energy at Work initiatives, and how it has been able to completely transform the culture of one of the biggest companies in a rational and operational environment. The second one, I would like to tackle also something, because I think Anke and Stefan has also difficulties. It's not easy to perform such changes, I can tell you. And I will show the 3 top prejudices or myths we have to fight. Okay? And what is emotional intelligence? And the third is to give you some concrete tools also, because as engineers, technical people, we like also concrete things. And I will show you 2 we have used, and we will be able to develop further after in the World Coffee for those who are interested this afternoon. So, we talk a lot about robots, okay, during those 2 days. But today, I will take another angle. And one of the myths we have is emotions have no place at the workplace. No place. Because we are more here, engineer, technician people. What about talking about emotions? And we tend to think sometimes that we can park our emotions, let's say, at the door of the company, of the factory. And after we are very rational. I'm not sure, especially when there is a big change. To summary, humans are not robots. Okay? The second one, which is also a bit taboo, this one. I heard a lot, or for several persons, also at senior management level, that emotions is more a feminine topic. Okay? And biologically, as men, we are set up to be more rational. So why talking about these topics in a company where more than 80% are men? Okay? And science have proven that it is totally wrong. So maybe women express more their emotions, but it doesn't mean that men don't feel emotions. And it's more a cultural aspect. When we have been used as men, for example, not to cry, because it's what not well perceived. Okay? And this is something we can also really improve in a culture that we allow, let's say, also everyone to know that we have emotions as a human being, and it's not only a feminine topic. And the third one, which concern, I think, a lot of leaders, like me I was, like you maybe, is emotions sometimes is a kind of weakness, and especially when it comes to show negative emotions, such as sadness, having fears. Okay? It's not culturally accepted. The problem with this is that we play a role. Play a role, the problem is we spend a lot of energy we are not using for something else. Okay? And also, and this is the most important, and I really feel in the speech of Stefan, for example, from Siemens, he is a plant leader, and we can feel he likes people, because he looks very humble. Okay? We show vulnerabilities. And when we don't show these vulnerabilities, we don't look authentic, and it's very hard to connect you as leader to your workforce, even if you have the most beautiful speech. Okay? That was the third myth. So what is emotional intelligence? Okay? So it's the ability first to understand your own emotions and to manage your own emotions, but also to do the same with the people around you, to understand their emotions, their body language, how they feel, to have empathy. And why it's so important, this is especially in an environment after COVID, for example. Nobody can see it's not important to have empathy with the workforce. Okay? And it has been proven that 90% of the top performers, it's a smart, it is a well-known survey from Smart Talent, 90% of the top performers score higher in emotional intelligence. Okay? And I think after the crisis it will be even higher. So why can we not talk openly on these topics in the workforce, in operations, when it's such a leverage for engagement of our team? Why? And this is the reason why, in Airbus, with the motivated individuals, without any budget, any extra time, so I think Siemens here, you are really benchmark on it, we have decided to launch this initiative, Emotional Intelligence at Work, to bring the emotions in a quite rational environment, without any budget, nobody asking us to do. I will not talk too long, but we have, and I like the say, even if you remember Jonathan, he said something in his presentation yesterday. He said, start small, think big. I love it, because it was exactly our purpose. We have started very small, with 2 or 3 colleagues we were talking about, with one manager. It was very small at the beginning. We didn't have any budget. Our presentation was very sloppy, very bad, because we didn't have. But we started small. 3-4 years after, this is what we are. We have organized conference up to 260 persons. We have organized 114 workshops, from normal teams up to executive vice president, for all the leadership team of engineering, for example. 2 weeks ago, our CEO have talked about positive energy during a kind of TED Talk. It was just amazing. And we have around more than 10,000 people already who have attended our conference, our workshop, or member of our community. There is today 3,700 persons who are followers of the community. And it's a real place to exchange about it. What I would like also to show is, but okay, how can emotion intelligence can help me in my business, concretely? It's nice to have words. Okay, there is an initiative, but what is the benefits here? And I will just give you a very operational example I have faced personally in my team in quality transport and logistics. We had, before COVID, the plan to have a huge ramp-up. We have 8 years of orders, ramp-up of single aisle and so on. Everything was totally fine. When COVID arrived, the aerospace industry has been severely hit. The production rates, in average, have reduced by 40%. Immediately. What happened? Our suppliers have not stopped. They wanted to deliver, okay, because it was in the contract. And when we are responsible for warehousing management, what happened? If the production goes down for 40% and supplier carry delivering, as it is, huge saturation of the warehouse, okay, can be a big risk, a complete disruption of the supply chain. And on one hand, you have, of course, your company and top management who ask you, please increase operational surveillance. We cannot afford to have parts outside under the rain, so please fix the problem. And on the other hand, you have your team member who say sometimes, but I'm afraid of myself, I'm afraid of my health, I don't want to go to the warehouse to make some assessment. What you do? Okay? And the key definitely here is one of our, is emotional intelligence. How to get rid of fears. It was exactly the message. And this is what we have worked with our team. This is it. And I would give you also, and I really like the message from Stefan, who said just before, he said, as a leader, you have to walk the talk. That's excellent, this sentence, because it's exactly this. When I arrived, and I want really to share this experience with you, when I arrived with one of the very critical warehouses, where we know we have problems, I arrived with my colleagues. We waited 5-10 minutes, and nobody came. We had an appointment with the management. Nobody came. So after 10 minutes, we say, we enter in the warehouse. And we were with blue-collar people working very afraid because they say, oh, the person from Airbus are coming. We don't have our management with us. What should we do? And we try to calm them down. But you know what they told us? The management is not there. They're afraid for themselves. But they want us to work. And they give us order by phone and email. Okay? That's not really good. Okay? And that's so important to walk the talk when you are in a crisis, and it's come from how I can get rid of fears also for myself. And it's okay to be afraid. We will explain more during the World Coffee this afternoon for those who are interested. But thanks to this, let's say, the collaboration we've been able to do with the team, understanding the fears of myself, of my team and the supplier, and transforming in more positive energy and the performance zone, I will come later. We had 0 injured operators in productions. The cost of non-quality has been below the target in all countries, and logistic transport has been seen as the best practice in front of the airline companies, customers, in September 2020. So we have been able to make a problem an opportunity in our team. We have performed more than 300 audits in the space of 5 months. So what are the tools I was mentioning now? Okay? To handle such situations. I will focus on 2 only. The first is the emotional mood meter. And here I will explain a bit to you what it is. You need, it's very important, especially as leaders, that you have a clue about energy management. It's not only about working 80 hours per week in a constantly, thinking that we are machines. No. You have, in energy management, 2 axes. You have the quality of the emotions, which are from pleasant to unpleasant emotions. Okay? And we have the quantity of energy, which is from high energy to low energy. What you think is the zone where we can perform from high energy and pleasant emotions. And what you need to remember is how you feel will greatly influence how you perform. Okay? And you need to find kind of emotions where you are from high energy to pleasant energy for the performance zone. Where are we most of the time, especially when we are under stress, when we have tough customer, let's say where our team, for example, are not following what we want, where are we most of the time? High energy, unpleasant. And here is the survival zone, where quite a lot of time we are here, even if we know we should be more on the performance zone. We have after the unpleasant and low energy. Here is the burnout zone. It's clearly the zone where we are not performing and we want to get rid of. And we have the renewal zone, a zone when we are more calm, where we can renew the energy. What we are doing when we have not so much clue in emotional intelligence and emotional energy, we move from performance zone to survival zone regularly. When I am completely dead, I'm survive. And after a bit of vacation 1 week, and after I come back to the performance zone. And this is where, on the long term, we will prevent you really with your team to succeed. What it's demonstrated by Tony Schwartz, because it has been inspired by Tony Schwartz, who is a great coach, working with athletes and so on, is to move from performance zone to renewal zone. When we feel that we have negative emotions from the survival zone, is to come back to the renewal zone. And that's why we talk about mindfulness, doing sports, being with your loved ones, the people you love, your friends, and so on, in order to recharge energy, in order after to go back to the performance zone. Because the quality of the decision you will take is clearly influenced by the level of emotion and what kind of emotion you have.
And this is what I wanted to say. First, when you see here, for example, the first question we have as leaders, our vocabulary is very poor on emotions. When I ask most of the people, how do you feel today? Fine. It could be worse. Or great if it's Friday, for example. Very, very poor the vocabulary. So because we are not able to quantify, to give a words to an emotions, we feel sometimes frustrated. Okay? So the first things to do is to be able to increase your vocabulary and to understand which kind of emotion we feel. And this is here the performance zone, high energy, pleasant energy. This is where, for example, when you want to energize a crowd, for example, when you want to achieve a big milestone, if you work in a Scrum project in Agile method, this is where you have to be here. Okay? The renewal zone, it's pleasant, low energy. It's when you are more calm, content, fulfilled. This is where you renew the energy. But I would like to say also, it's also a kind of performing zone, because if you want, for example, to build consensus with a team, to brainstorm sometimes, it's good to be there. Not to be too much high on energy. When you want to make a risk analysis, sometimes better. Here, what we say is low energy and pleasant, most the burnout zone. But sometimes it's also useful to be there. When you think it's useful. When, for example, I don't know, one of the team members, the parents have a big disease or the child have a disease, when it's come to show empathy, sometimes good to be here, to connect with the person who suffers. Okay? The only thing we don't have to stay too long. Okay? And high energy, unpleasant emotions, here is a flight or fight mode, which were very useful before, 1,000 years ago, when you have beasts. Okay? And as a human, we had to live, because it was a constant danger, where you have a lot of cortisol in your body. For example, if there is a fire right now in the room, do you think it's good to be on the calm and low emotions? No. Will you think, oh, how many minutes I have to listen to this guy because he's interesting? No, you don't want this. Okay? You want to run and to go. Sometimes there is a fire in a plant, for example. Here, the manager needs to be very direct. You don't tend to discuss here. We follow the rules and you go. Okay? What I wanted to show here, and if it is the only takeaway you have, it will be great. There is no good and bad emotions. We tend to judge our emotions. You need to use your emotion depending on the context you are. Okay? And sometimes you will see a lot of motivation coach told you, you need always to be high and pleasant emotion all the time. Not true. Okay? As a human beings, we vary from a lot of different emotions and we have to accept it. What I would like to say, because we talk about digitalization, okay, so I wanted to give at least the tools. There is a mood matters, build emotional intelligence to last a lifetime, could be for your team, could be for you, and every day, the advice I would like to give is to check where you are, okay, regularly, to reconnect, okay, and it gives you after a kind of trance. And it's free, you can download almost in Apple Store and Google Play. Now, a key questions we need to have, why sometimes we feel hijacked by emotion, why I feel frustration, why I feel anger or whatever. Sometimes we have no clue why, okay? And the question is here, this is also a tool we use a lot and we present to our conference, is the fundamental human needs at work. Because when we feel a negative emotions, it's because needs are not met. And when we are not able to understand the needs of your colleagues, of your customer, of your suppliers, it will create some conflict because we will not understand each other. Okay? So that's the reason why I will go briefly to these 8 needs. One is security, which is key. After COVID, we need to understand the need of security of your employees. If you don't fulfill this need of security, people will stay on the red zone, the survival zone, and you will not be able to convince them because they will not listen to you, as Stefan was stating. Importance recognitions. As Henrik was saying for my colleague from Airbus, everybody has to win. Everybody needs to feel recognized or feel embarked. That's why it's a bottom-up approach we have done in Siemens. People feel embarked in the transformation journey. It's not consultant coming and to say you have to do this. Inclusions, what we are doing today. Okay, we are together. Diversity of tasks, diversity of people we meet. Autonomy. okay, to feel empowered. Gratitude also for what we have. Contribution and growth. And here I will focus on two needs. Contribution and growth. Why? To have the growth mindset. You remember the speech was yesterday by Brent, who's saying, very important to have a growth mindset, especially during a transformation and digital transformation. Why? Because, and I would not to say only that is because we need to have more knowledge. It has been said already, you need always, it's not this. I will just say something. As a leaders, if you want to give positive emotions or engage your team, how can you engage person, give them positive energy, if you feel yourself burnout? How can I do good to others if myself I don't feel well? How can I lead an organization of thousands of people if I am not able to manage my own emotions? In other words, we cannot give what we don't have. Okay? And that's the reason why it's really encouragement to grow yourself on your self-development in order first, let's say, to be able after to give back. And here it is contributions. And when I see the mission of Siemens, for example, I heard, for example, yesterday, a speech to say, yes, we will be able to beat the competitions if we succeed all together. Do you think it has the same effect that the mission of Siemens, who say we will give energy, we will provide sustainable energy, let's say, for our children and for new generations? Which argument will be the best to convince the employees to have energy? I'm not sure it will be the competition to beat always the competitions. It will be to have a meaningful purpose. And this is all about contributions here. Because when we focus on something greater than ourselves, when the aim is much more, towards sustainability, okay, it creates an inner turbo in ourselves, okay, and a full of enthusiasm and positive energy, okay. So this is a needs oriented toward others, and I really encourage you to try to fulfill those two needs above, even if there is no needs which are better than others, okay. And what we are doing is in Airbus, we try to see, and this is what we will see in the World Coffee after, we will go deeper, for each needs, which are the driver in order to increase it, in order to bring satisfaction to people, in order they could have high energy. So what I would like to say is, leadership is all about emotional intelligence. It was a quote, by the way, and management is tough, while leadership is experience. Experience, this is what we are doing, okay? And I would like that, I hope, that you enjoy the experience we are all together with all the great people who took their time to share experience with you in order we can have, let's say, a better place to work in. Thank you very much.
So, Herf, impressive. So, first point from my side is you deliver not airplanes. No. You deliver airplanes full of emotions by yourself. Great. Okay, so any questions from the audience here locally? What's up? Okay. Use the microphone there, left side.
So first of all, thank you very much. That was a brilliant talk. I still have the question, you're talking about energy and emotional intelligence is energizing, I would say that. The question I still have is, have you looked into actually correlation into numbers in Airbus, what this is actually doing or what you're expecting this to do?
Which numbers you mean?
Oh,
the KPIs, or
yes,
how we can? Okay,
yes, precisely.
It's a very key question because at certain points when we want to deploy major initiatives, especially at the executive level, they want to see, okay, but show me on the bottom line what are the results. And it's a very tricky questions because there is a lot of parameters. We have thought about absenteeism rates, for example, which is one everybody want to fight because it costs a lot of money. We can link it, but how you can segregate with a lot of other measures from health and safety, for example, it's not easy. However, what we have done in Airbus is each time we do a workshop or we make a survey. And we try to see what people are doing. And what we are doing also is to ask people, what concretely have you done after each workshop or conference we have done. And we will give just an example. We have several persons, and I think it's interesting, the plant manager, in their SQCDP, I think it's clear, safety, quality, and people, they talk about emotions. Before in production, we are saying, I'm green, I'm red. 2 colors. Yes. And if you are red, why you are red? What is your plan to be green? So people say, okay, I'm green. And now after they have much more, let's say, vocabulary, and they talk about it. So this is concretely what we have shown. And we see also we have done engagement survey in Airbus, my working environment, which is, and it's tracked overall all the company, and you have a lot of questions linked to emotions. So this is what we have done, but we have not a KPI to see. Thanks to the initiative, we have increased by X% the turnover. This is not what we wanted to do with it, because it's very hard to do.
Okay, thank you. 2 questions from the audience in the internet. Some questions? Okay, I have 2 short questions at the end. If I'm looking to your job, and I know that because my wife is working in logistics too, out of history, to be a part and material mover is one side of the job. And you said about emotional intelligence. So what was your way to move from material mover to emotional manager?
That's a very, very good question, Frank. No, but it's an excellent one. Because it's a journey, as it was stated in the last presentation. And I was used also not to believe really on these topics, by education, by also what I thought management is to work 80 hours, is to push, is to do more, and so on. And sometime in life, we face also sometimes health issue, okay? And we come very down. We meet failures, okay? And after, we make a self-journey for yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
And you have to say, what is the meaning of it? Is there not a better way to achieve our objectives and staying healthy? Yeah. Okay, and to connect with people? And after I discover these topics, and I see now in several teams I led that we can work less, we work smarter, people are more fulfilled, and we achieve our objectives. And that's the reason why I started, but it takes years. It's a long journey.
Okay, okay. So last question, very short. The project orientation and this what you are showing me, is it only for Toulouse?
Also, very, very good questions. I am in Hamburg. So when I launched it, I was in Hamburg, but we are a transnational team. And you are right, most of the change initiatives come from the headquarters. And this is exactly also what Siemens have done. It should be a bottom-up initiative. And we have connected, thanks to the social media, because we have an internet in Airbus. And here with social media, we can connect from everywhere. And we have created a hub community on the Airbus intranet, and a lot of people around the world, even in India, said, I am interested, I want to join. And now we are a group from all the countries, and so it doesn't come from Toulouse. It has been, let's say, initiated by persons all over the countries.
Okay. You can send in future the emotions from location to location with your super GUI to change it over the time. So thank you so much.
So
thank you very much.
There's one more question from
sorry.
the digital attendees.
One question more, okay.
One delegate asks you, do you know, analyze the reasons for being overloaded and try to bottleneck the resources?
So I think the reason to be overloaded is, good point, is the workload we have is increasing years by years. I'm not sure that in 5 or 10 years we will say, oh, we'll have less workload. For me, I'm not sure. But the reason we are overloaded is because our capacity is limited. It's the balance between capacity and workload, like a machine here, okay? And all what we want to do is to double check also with our teams that they can work reasonable hours, okay, in order to keep a good capacity. And what we try to do is to increase the capacity, which is the energy of the individuals, in order to meet the workload and also to prioritize. And when we are quite good at emotional intelligence, and I want to share this with you, we are great to say no. Also, when you are weak in emotional intelligence, you want to say yes to please everyone. Okay? And this is really, for me, one of the best strategies to really see what are my top priority. Here I will focus full gas energy on it, but I am not afraid to say no, because I know if I say yes, I will jeopardize all my other objectives, which are much more important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, to hear something about emotions.